Hello best learners, this is Mustafa here at Learn with the Best, and today we're going to be discussing Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 10, Infection, avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. I would rank this as one of the top 5 laws of power, so pay attention. I'm going to start this video by defining the law for you, and then we'll be looking at a short story from the book, as well as a short story from my very own life. Here's the law. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel like you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and the fortunate instead. So once upon a time, in the 1840s, a woman named Marie Gilbert went to Paris to make her mark in the world as a dancer and a performer. 5 years in, she was still broke, and so she decided to change her approach and make her way to the top by playing the game of love. Surprise, surprise. Marie brought a man named Alexander Dujarrier into her crosshairs. You see, Alexander was owner of the largest newspaper company in France, and he was also the newspaper's drama critic. Marie decided to woo and conquer this poor, unassuming young man. After spying on him for a while, she discovered that he went horseback riding every morning. She already had the skill down, so she rode out and not so accidentally ran into the man. Soon enough, they were both riding together every day, and a few weeks later, Marie moved into his apartment. For a while, the couple were happy together, and with Alex's help, Marie began to revive her dancing career. Not caring about his own social standing, Alex announced that he would soon be marrying Marie. But little did he know, Marie was already legally married to someone else. Even though Alex was deeply in love, his life started to slowly slide downhill. His fortune in business started to shift, and his influential friends began avoiding him. One night, Alex was invited to a party attended by some of the wealthiest young men in Paris. Marie wanted to go too, but he would not let her. The young couple had their first fight, and Alex went to the party by himself. He got a little too drunk, and he insulted an influential drama critic named Jean, because apparently Jean had said something bad about Marie and one of her horrible performances. The following morning, Jean challenged Alex to a duel. Alex tried to apologize for slighting Jean, but he couldn't get out of the duel. Unfortunately, Alex was shot and killed in the duel. So the young Marie left Paris and went to Munich, where she decided to woo and conquer King Ludwig of Bavaria. The best way to do this was through his aide, Count Otto von Rechberg, a man who loved pretty girls. I mean, come on, what man doesn't love pretty girls? So anyway, one day, Marie went horseback riding and not so accidentally fell out of her harness and onto the feet of this count. He was so enchanted, and he promised to arrange an audience between Marie and the king. When the count was speaking to the king behind closed doors, Marie could hear the king saying that he did not have time to meet with someone of no importance. So what did this woman do? Well, she forcibly pushed through the guards and entered the room, of course. And in the process of doing so, the front of her dress somehow got undone, and she was exposed in front of the king, bare-skinned and all. Marie was granted her audience, and 2 days later, she made her debut on the Bavarian stage. The reviews were horrible, but that didn't stop the young the young king, from arranging more performances for her. The king started to appear in public with her on his arm. He wrote her poetry, and he bought her whatever she wanted. The king was infected by this woman, and soon Marie started to let it all get to her head. One day, when she was out riding, an elderly man was riding ahead of her, and so she started whipping him with her riding crop. On another day, when she took her dog out, unleashed, the dog attacked a passerby, but instead of helping the man, she instead started to whip him. Makes sense? These sorts of incidents infuriated the citizens of Bavaria, but the king stood beside his lady. The king's advisors advised him to get her out of his life, but instead he made her a countess and had a palace built for her. Marie started to dabble in politics, even advising the king himself on policy. Almost overnight, Marie had become the most powerful force in the kingdom. She treated everyone else of power with disdain, and as a result, the land was on the brink of civil war. The king was finally unable to withstand the pressure, and with great sorrow, he ordered Marie to leave Bavaria. He paid her off handsomely, and over the next few weeks, the Bavarians' wrath was turned against their formerly beloved king, and he was forced to step down. Oh, boo-hoo. After that, Marie continued to hop from one pogo stick to the next, going on every ride at the carnival, ruining one man after the next, before finally, at the age of 41, she found God. She toured America, lecturing on religious topics, dressed in all white, wearing a halo-like white headgear. Then, after a few years, she died. Yeah. Marie was the kind of infectious person who could keep her lovers enthralled, stirring up a maelstrom of emotions. She kept the men in her life feeling confused, upset, and alive. Like a good, infectious person, Marie always found a way to make her problems into the problems of her lovers. You could spend a lifetime studying her inner workings, women like Marie, but it's not worth your time. Just learn the lesson here, young man. If you suspect that you are in the presence of an unhappy, unlucky, infectious type of person, then cut them loose and run as far as you possibly can. Try to look for people who attract happiness through their good cheer, their natural buoyancy, and intelligence. They will be a source of pleasure, and you should try to associate with them to share in their prosperity that they draw upon themselves. So now, let's look at an example from my own life. But before we do that, I need your help with YouTube's algorithm. Please smash that thumbs up button below, because if you don't, then YouTube is simply not going to show this video to anyone else. Please also subscribe and click on the bell icon, because if you don't, then again, YouTube won't let you know when a new video is uploaded. Your engagement with this video really does help me out a lot. And if you want to transform yourself from a lamb to a lion, then check out my course pinned in the top comment below. I will teach you the tools that you need for success, but you have to actually step up and put in the work on yourself. This course is not for everyone, because the majority of the population are quite frankly sheep. But for those very few of us who do want to walk the path of a lion, this is the course for you. Okay, so back to it. When I was in my early 20s, my grandmother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Her life was prolonged as much as possible, which would end up being a couple of years. But sadly, cancer did eventually take her life. But in that couple of years where she was fighting, there were plenty of hospital visits. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my parents, my brother, so many of my family members, we would all go and see her, show her our love and support. She had a lot of people who loved her, that's for darn sure. I remember one particular day. She had been in the hospital for a stretch of time, and so many of our family members were visiting her. But this day, I was talking to my aunt for it must have been about 30 minutes, and it was getting late, so I told her I was going to go to the hospital cafeteria to grab some dinner before they closed. And I asked her if she wanted anything, and I'll never forget the way she reacted. She was so shocked. She asked me if I was really going to go and eat at a time like this. I was like, whoa, what are you talking about, auntie? What time like this? I was super confused because my grandmother had been battling cancer for several years, and this was just one of many times when she was in the hospital for several days or even several weeks at a time. So anyway, my aunt was like, no, I don't want anything to eat. I cannot eat while my mother is in the hospital. So I was like, okay, I'ma go eat. So I ate dinner and I came back and she was telling all of our family members that I had gone and I had my dinner at a time like this, and blah 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 blah. Her whining got on the nerves of basically all of the family members. One of her siblings asked her if she hadn't eaten in the full 2 years that their mother was battling cancer. Another told her not to eat until their mother fully recovers. You know, that was a difficult time for the whole family. But when you have such a horrible me against the world type of an attitude and you actively go around trying to instigate, it's going to be a difficult, hard, strenuous life. So in closing, recognize the unfortunate so that you can choose to not be in their company. Just because you see a man drowning out in the open sea does not mean that you need to risk your own life to go and try to save him, because in his unlucky state, he may very well pull you into the depths with him. If you like my YouTube content and you want more, then please check out my Patreon link pinned in the top comment below. I upload new videos every Friday for my Patreon subscribers that go deeper into my life regarding the 48 laws of power. These videos are a bit more raw and untamed than my usual videos here on YouTube. And if you're a patron of mine already, then I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's people like you that truly make all of this possible. I hope you enjoyed this animated video on Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 10, Infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. And remember, you only retain about 10% of what you learned the first time around. So watch this video through a few times and then come back to it again and again in order to really understand and ingrain all of the material into your mind. Thanks, and I'll see you next time for Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 11.